All right, so how y'all doing tonight? It's your girl, Arnika Lavlis, aka Linky Love, and I'm here with another recap and review of P-Valley. Man, season 2 of P-Valley. Say if y'all don't get y'all some tissue when y'all watch this, because we about to bring it to you. Now, see, we all slept on season 1. If you watch season 1, I think everybody, then we were during the pandemic, it was like, what? They got the show, they got these strippers, oh my God, all this stuff going on, Uncle Clifford, Mercedes, woo, woo, woo. Okay, we missed all the prelude to what we are seeing right now, because Autumn Night showed up with a whole bunch of money, and we knew she was having some flashbacks and drinking. She was thinking about her child. Her child was killed. She was in a domestic violence situation. We knew Mercedes had been out there, on the streets trying to get her life together. She had a child. That whole situation with her mama. We saw all this stuff, which is leading to season 2. We knew Keyshawn, Mississippi. She had that abusive boyfriend, or baby daddy, husband, whatever they are. We saw all of this, but I think we were so mesmerized by what was going down in the pink that we just kind of like, oh, okay. So season 2, they say, no, we're going to show y'all. We need to get y'all attention so y'all can really see and understand what's going on. And the interesting part for me that brought me here with this is that this happens in a lot of communities. This happens in so many communities where you have a lot of people who are broken because of unresolved trauma. A lot of it is generational. A lot of them is environmental. They have trauma. They turn to doing these different things to cope. Okay, so I'm going to save that analytical part for a little bit later on in my discussion. So, it starts off with Lil Murda and Big Teak. Big Teak got out of prison, and finally back in his neighborhood where people could celebrate him being released. Lil Murda got a car for him. We find out that, they had a relationship where they were locked up. Now, we kind of saw a little bit of that before, but they kind of unfolded a little bit more, of what was going on. Lil Murda felt like Big Teak was there for him, and he was appreciative, and that he would always have his back. At one point, Keyshawn called Lil Murda, let him know about Rome being killed, because the news had showed about him being killed. People didn't know, or him dying. People didn't know, like, what happened. But Mississippi, Keyshawn told Lil Murda, like, hey, he tried to, do it. It meaning sexually assault her, and, Wody basically took care of it, all right? And the irony in it, when Derek found out about, oh, yeah, we hate to hear what happened to Rome. He was such a nice guy. I'm like, birds of a feather. Y'all cut from the same cloth, because he did. If he only knew what he was trying to do to Keyshawn, he'd probably go in the grave and beat the man up, okay? So we see that Keyshawn, she got her bag packed. She getting her kids together. She finna go. We like, run, girl. Just get out. Just go. But Derek took the battery out the car. He had a tracker on her phone. She had a gun, but she didn't do nothing. Now, she could have called an Uber. She could have called one of her friends. She could have took off walking. She could have done a lot of things. But this is pretty much a typical pattern of people who are in domestic violent, intimate partner violent relationships. A lot of times they try to leave. They might even be successful in leaving, but something brings them back. It's like, I don't know if it's that connection, that codependency, that fear that brings them back, to the aggressor. So she had the gun. He walked in. She could have, took him out, but she didn't. So it's very interesting to see how that goes. She could have called Diamond. Diamond can't even be with his lady without thinking about her. She had she could have called Woody. Woody, took care of Rome like that. She could have done a lot of things, but I'm hoping they show Keyshawn being empowered. Like, she don't have to go to nobody to help her, that she feel empowered enough to leave that situation. So we shall see. All right. So then it kind of goes to Mercedes. Now, Mercedes and Shell drinking, food rotting in the icebox and all this other stuff. It's like, what is going on with Shell? Shell seemed like she had it together. Pandemic took a lot of jobs from a lot of people. People were isolated. A lot of our mental health, mental anguish stuff started coming out. You know, if you look at Shell is raising the child of her deceased husband and his mistress, who was a teenager when they conceived that child. So, I mean, this woman had some stuff. She, you know, her husband dead, so she, grieving that, and the fact that he had a baby with another woman that was a kid, you know, just that fact by itself. I don't know what all had went on in her life other than that, but that was a lot right there. That's very traumatic. I don't know if she ever got her some therapy, but, you know, hopefully they get her somebody to talk to as other than her drinking, her problems. You know, people will self-medicate. They will try to numb themselves with drugs and alcohol because they have issues, you know, that they don't know how to deal with. Okay, so you had that whole situation where, you know, Mercedes trying to help her. They trying to find the daughter, figure out where she's at. She done went off somewhere. They don't know where she is. Okay, so meanwhile, Mercedes gets a call from the coach. The coach is like, hey, my wife, she want to come and, you know, do this thing again. And Mercedes like, well, I thought it was just supposed to be me and you, coach. I don't want to be with your wife, knowing that she playing it off. So she get over there for this Mercedes experience. They doing their thing. Mercedes and the wife, they getting it in. The coach like, hold up, wait a minute, what's up with this? How y'all getting it on? Y'all must have been messing around without me. I don't like that. I can't trust y'all. Y'all breaking my heart. I was like, bro, you've been getting all these women at the strip club and doing y'all contracts and all of this stuff to have these women spend weekends with you. This woman, your wife, was aware of it. She was like, okay, whatever. The minute she tried to have her little fun, you mad. You putting people out. Girl, I took my money and went on after that. But you mad you putting people out. So I was like, you know, F him, fuck him. You know, do what you got to do, girl. Get yours. But I talked to a friend that kind of explained it to me, and it made a lot of sense. I've never been in an open relationship. I've never been in a polyamorous relationship. I tried to be in a monogamous relationship, but I guess people didn't want monogamy, girl, okay? But in those relationships, as with any relationship, there are agreements, should be agreements, should be communication, and should be an understanding, okay? Now, if the coach wife was good with him having these other women, it was something that was communicated, contracts, money passed, you know, she should have communicated with her husband like, yo, I want a woman. You got these women coming. I want to have me one too for the weekend and blah, blah, blah. You know, now if he wouldn't have been okay with that, then she should have looked at her relationship from the beginning like, yo, if you could do it, how come I can't? So it made sense. At first I was like, he ain't shit, but I get it. So, you know, that whole situation went on right there, and Mercedes gets put out, and so I don't know what they're gonna do. You know, I don't know, kind of looked like she was liking the woman. I don't know. So we shall see. All right, so then we go to Autumn goes to this black tie gala where Andre is putting his bid in for mayor. You got a lot of big wigs there. He's, you know, it's campaign event, you know, so Andre running for mayor. So Andre, we get a little bit more background about Andre, because all we know is that he's like the godson to the mayor that passed away, cheating on his wife. You know, we don't really know a whole lot. He should have gone to law school, I believe they had said, but he decided to do something else. So now he's running for mayor. But he tells us that, you know, he should have been a statistic, that his mother was addicted to drugs, his father died when he was 7, and the mayor took him in, mentored him, and paid for him to go to college. All right, and so he have a lot of that's why he had so much loyalty to the mayor. It's like, well, what's up with that? Why are you so loyal to him? That's why, you know. So we see that whole situation unfold. Big wigs talking about money. Autumn might get her $10 million or whatever it is she wants for the pink, because the heir to the folks was at Promised Land. They trying to get that casino built, and that lady like, hey, me and you'll talk. You know, don't look for these men to do nothing. I got you, boo. I was like, okay, sis, get your money, girl, get your money. All right, so and we see they later on, hook up and do their thing as they do. So I thought that was interesting. Now me being a therapist, they're trauma bonding. I think a lot of people trauma bonding in P Valley. So yeah, I digress on that one. All right, so here's the part for me. This part just, man, Lord, have mercy, Jesus, for real. Big Teak goes into the trap house. Well, let me back up a little bit. So, Big Teak and Lil Murda, they driving around in the car. Big Teak get his hair did, all this stuff. They go and eat, and they talking about, I guess their interactions and relationship. Big Teak asks about Uncle Clifford. And, man, when I tell you Lil Murda was like, Uncle Clifford is just like, why he said like eating, I want to say, he didn't say cotton candy, but he was like eating a funnel cake at the fair or something like that. I was like, man, okay, that is romantic. Now, yeah, I know y'all saying eating a funnel, just the way he described what he felt and what he thought about Uncle Clifford. It's like, wow, a masculine black man is showing love for someone because, our hyper masculinity doesn't allow black men to show feelings and emotions for anybody. And to have Lil Murda show all of these feelings and emotions that he has towards Uncle Clifford, it's like, wow, okay. All right, I feel that. And his feelings and emotions for Big Teak. He like, we out on a date, and didn't think we'd ever be out of prison to do that. And Big Teak was reminiscing about how in prison, Lil Murda had like some noodles or something and a candlelight dinner for him. It's like, okay. And that'd be real in prison. That'd be real. They've had weddings and different things set up. One would think prison hardcore, big bodybuilding guys just fighting and carrying on. But, they're people. People are living their lives. It's the same dynamics and stuff we have out in the free world. They make those dynamics and different things as best they can to have some sense of normalcy in prison, And so the interesting thing, the tearjerker for me, Big Teak and Lil Murda ride around, Tina Snow, a.k.a. Meg Thee Stallion, got a song with Lil Murda. They hear on the radio. It's like, what? And so Lil Murda getting ready to go on tour with her, and everybody excited. They're so excited. And he's basically telling Big Teak, you coming with me. I don't care what nobody say. You're going to be coming with me. And so Big Teak like, nah, this really ain't me. So they go to this house, like a trap house, and we don't really know what's going on. So Teak kind of walking around. He having like some flashbacks, PTSD. He sees the image of himself as a child in a closet, covered in blood and hearing screams and all this other stuff going on. So it's really like, what is happening? Now, he's had those flashbacks early on in the other episodes. We just really didn't know what it was, but he would like have his moments where he just had some stuff going on, and then he would get through it, So he and Lil Murda back in the car talking about it, and they talking about being in solitary confinement in prison, and Teak basically telling him, this is not the first time that I've been in the hole. He said about how his mama just kind of lost her mind and went crazy and killed his 3 siblings. He was able to run in the closet and hide and hear screams and everything going on with his mom. And he was like, it must have been the devil, I don't know. Now, hearing him say that perhaps his mother had schizophrenia or something. Not to say that people with schizophrenia is going around killing folks. I'm not saying that at all. The way he kind of described her maybe as being possessed, like something just got into her and made her do this. I'll put it like this. I won't put a diagnosis on it, but she truly has some mental health condition. I'll put it like that. Not certain what it was. Not trying to generalize or stereotype any group of people at all. But she had something. You're killing your kids, And so he felt like he should have died that night. But he didn't. And the teardrops tattooed on his face, people thought that maybe that was the people he killed. He said, no, I didn't kill way many more people than that. This is for my siblings that died. you know, and that just brings me to his life, just looking at it for a little bit. This young man had this stuff happen to him as a child. A 7-year-old kid, your mom killing everybody in the house. You know, I'm going to guess he turned to the streets after that. The streets took him in. If he went some kind of foster care or whatever the case may be, the gang took him in. You know, and that's pretty typical in most cities. When the family's not present, different things happen. The streets become family. And people have this sense of loyalty to the streets because these were the people that looked out for them, that fed them when they were hungry, that put shoes on their feet, clothes on their back, that stood up for them, that looked out for them, and they have a sense of loyalty. So we as a society, how can we break that when the homes are already broken and all the young people have are the streets? You know, you can't tell them don't do this, don't do that, because they're like, what do you mean? These are the people who were there for me, and I'm not going to turn my back on them. You know, that's where we have to come together and grab everybody, you know, and show them some love and show them a better way. We need to get our tribes, our community back together so we can show people a better way. Yes, unfortunately, this is going to happen. You know, this is going to happen where homes are going to be broken. But we as a community of people, we have to come together to help support the people in our community and show them a better way. Now, I don't know why this boy went and killed all these people. I don't know if he was having PTSD, flashbacks, and was killing people that he thought he was being harmed by, or he was really being harmed by people and he killed them. I don't know. But nevertheless, the prison is filled with lots of men and women who have gone through trauma as children and is unresolved, and they end up doing things and making bad choices that lead them there. That's how I became a therapist. I used to be an institutional parole officer, and I saw all these guys, these young guys, young black men, you know, getting all these long sentences, and then when you talk to them, they tell you about their childhoods, about abuse in the family, parents absent, being put in foster care or whatnot, being abused, mental health issues, just a lot of stuff that was going on. They really didn't know, you know, and all they were doing was reacting because nobody really taught them how to cope with everything they had gone through. So you get to the part where Big Teak is like, I don't see nothing else for me. You know, I should have died when my family died. I don't see a future for me. And Lil Murda was like, nah, man, come on. I got you. You're going to be with me. It's all good. And Big Teak decides to take his life. You know, and unfortunately, that happens a lot. It happens a lot. You know, all we can do is the best that we can and be there for our loved ones, check on them, make certain they know they're loved, try to get people help. We know our family stories. We know what our family been through. Try to get them some help, you know, to normalize talking to a therapist. I'm a therapist. Y'all come talk to me if you're in Texas, okay? You know, so that right there just hurt my heart to see that. And of course, I can imagine Lil Murda gonna need some therapy. Y'all gonna have to pray for him, get him some help. Okay, so he finds his way to Uncle Clifford and, you know, let him know that he's not in a good space. That's why I say all the people go to Uncle Clifford. Y'all notice that everybody who got something going on go to Uncle Clifford, and he nurtures them. He tries to get them back on their feet. He makes a way for them. He holds space for them. So I ain't mad at Uncle Clifford. I think I'm using the wrong pronouns. Uncle Clifford, she holds space for them. Okay. So at the end, we see Mercedes, and I guess she, you know, dealing with being put out the coach house and that whole situation. And her daughter shows up. She's upset. She's crying. She has a pregnancy test. She is positive. And it's like, uh-oh, here we go again. Another teenage pregnancy. Mercedes was a teenager when she had her daughter. Now, here goes this cycle. And so, wow. And it happens. That's the interesting part. Those cycles, they tend to happen. What do we do to break the cycle? How do we do? What do we do? You know, and this child, not knocking this child, she looking for love. You know, her dad is dead. She's being raised by someone else and finds out that's not her mom. You know, then the woman says she was a mistake. She trying her best to take care of her. Then the mother that she knows out there stripping and doing all this other stuff. So she, you know, I can imagine everything she's feeling. I hope they get her some help, okay? That's me. I'm the one that's like, get everybody some help. They need it. There is help out there. You know, you don't have to be at this alone. So P Valley brought it. They bringing it. I can't wait for the next episode. I'll probably be back on here talking about it. So, I mean, hey, if you were affected by these episodes, talk to somebody. They got hotlines. I'm going to put up some hotlines on here when I finish in my description. P Valley did have some hotlines way at the back. P Valley, y'all got to do better. Come on. Y'all did a warning, trigger warning at the beginning. I need y'all to verbalize that. You know nobody be looking at the TV until the stuff start happening. Please verbalize some stuff. Please do a little bit better with y'all's hotlines and trigger warnings. But I will commend you on bringing to light these people's trauma. You know, because there are a lot of people that have dealt with and currently dealing with these things. And I just want y'all to know that help is out there. Alrighty, that's my time. I'm getting ready to go to bed. I hope that something I said was interesting to you. This is for entertainment purposes only. Alright, so y'all have a good night. This is Larnika Lavlis, a.k.a. Linky Love.